Hello and welcome to Trading 5 Talents. In today's video, I want to give a walkthrough of some of the updates that I've made to the trade log. So this would be version 3.7. There's a link down in the description of where you can download this trade log. It's completely free, but as soon as you download it, go ahead and click on File, then make a copy. That way you can have a saved copy in your Google Drive, and then you'll be able to edit it as needed. So here are the changes that I've made. I've logged them here in the change log 3.7. New trade types, that's the biggest thing. Slicer that I'll show you, and then conditionally formatted options expirations, and also updating the cost basis tab. So let's take a look at the trade log. So one of the biggest things that you're going to notice right here is that now you've got two different types of trade types to enter. So this first one is just the direction, if it's going to be a long or short trade. And that is because it would cut down on the amount of trade types I need to put into this selection menu here. So under trade type, before it was just, stock, long call, long put, short call, short put, and so on. And then there was the credit spreads and debit spreads. But now I've added different trade types to the trade log. But to have every iteration of a trade would be quite long. So what I did is I broke it up to a long and short direction. And then here are your new trade types: stock, call vertical, put vertical, iron condor, iron fly or iron butterfly, a butterfly, a straddle, and a strangle. And so you can go long on each of these, or you can go short on each of these. But with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different trade types, 2 different directions, that would be 20 different combinations. So instead of putting it all in one list, I divided it up into 2 lists: the direction and then the trade type. So just really quickly, these vertical spreads right here, these are the same as the credit and debit spreads, except now you've got a different name. For example, if you had a long call vertical, so this would be your call debit spread. If you had a short call vertical, it would be your credit or your call credit spread. Long put vertical, that would be your put debit spread, and then your short put vertical would be your credit or your put credit spread. The iron condor we've talked about, and I just made a video on that not too long ago, so I'll reference that, put a link to that up above. And then the butterfly we've also looked at. But when you combine these two, it creates what's either called an iron butterfly or simply an iron fly. And basically it's an iron condor, except the short options, that short put and that short call, they're the same strike price in an iron fly. So it resembles a butterfly, but you're using calls and puts, so that makes it, the iron portion of it. So it's like an iron condor and a butterfly mixed together. So that's why it's referred to as an iron fly. And then of course your straddle and your strangle. Right, the symbol stays the same, open date stays the same. Now it makes it a little bit longer once I'm adding in these different trade types where you put in your strikes. So just right here, for a single option, long or short, put or call, and your straddles, because they only have a single strike, that will go in this column right here. Depending on what you choose, it will determine if that particular cell is blacked out or not, so that you know exactly which strikes to use. For your vertical spreads, long and short strikes. For your iron condor and your iron fly spreads, you have long and short puts, and you have long and short calls that you're going to need to enter. And they're put in the order that you would trade them. So your shorts are in the middle, and then your longs are on either end. For a butterfly spread, there are 3 strikes that you need to enter: your lower strike, your mid strike, and then your upper strike. So you've got the wings of the butterfly on either side, and then you've got the body. And that's the one that would go right here as the mid strike. And then your strangle, you have a put and a call. So you can see I've just entered in, some example trades right here. These obviously aren't trade recommendations. They're just there so I can make sure that all the formatting was being properly done. So the expiration column obviously is for the expiration of your options. Now there are a few things that I still haven't entered in here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to. For example, a calendar spread or a diagonal spread, because they have 2 separate expirations. I didn't put those, I didn't include those here in the trade log. What I would do is I would just enter them as two separate trades. So for example, if you're doing a diagonal spread with puts, you would just have two put lines. So a long put and a short put, and then they have different expirations. And that way you can manage them independent of one another. With the expiration column, though, I did add something here, and it's conditional formatting. So once the expiration date is within 7 days, so it's within a week, the spreadsheet is going to start formatting it in darker and darker shades of red. So right now, this is about 7 days out, so you've got this light red or pinkish view to it. So if we were to, let's just say, well, let's go down here. Today's the 18th, so let's say 6/19, for example, it's going to be a darker red. Let's say this one was 6/17. Well, that was already passed. Sorry. Okay, so let's say it's going to be 6/21. So it's a little bit lighter, 6/23. You can see it's that color, and then, 6/24, 6/25. So every 2 days, it's going to get a different shade of red. The closer you are to expiration, the deeper shade of red it's going to appear. Okay, option quantity stays the same. Share quantity stays the same. Your buy price, your sell price, those all stay the same. You just enter them in according to what you're doing with the trade. If you're opening a long position, you'd enter your buy price in, because you're buying it. If you are entering a short position, you would enter your sell price in first. Okay, now when you close your long position, you're selling to close, so you'd enter that here. If you're closing your short position, you have to buy to close, so you would enter that here. Your fees, your other, this can include, dividends, and then of course your total profit and loss is going to calculate here. Green if it's profitable, red if it's a loss. A cost basis will show up, I believe, when you enter a short call, and then your adjusted cost basis, and I'll talk about that in a second, but that's, going to be your adjusted break-even point, your original collateral, adjusted collateral, and then, of course, all of these other things stay the same. I just had to change some of the calculations in here to accommodate the direction column as well as a new trade type labels. All right, so that's the main thing for this 3.7 version of the trade log. Let's look over here at the cost basis. In the cost basis tab, it's going to show you your cost basis of the shares of stock that you own, and it's going to adjust that cost basis as you reduce it by selling short calls, or by selling, covered calls. But I've also made it very flexible where no matter what type of trade you use, as long as it's that symbol, that ticker symbol, you can apply it to reduce your cost basis or reduce your break even. And all you have to do is simply just check each of these boxes, and it will automatically reduce your cost basis. As you can see here, this cost basis, you can see it's in gray. This is going to be used in the trade log column, in the gray columns, right? So if you don't want your iron condors and your put verticals to be included, you can just uncheck them. You don't want your call verticals to be included, you can uncheck them, and it's going to update as well. So you got your shorts in red and you got your longs in green. Right, so that's the cost basis tab. If you want to find out what these columns are actually doing, or what these formulas are actually doing, you can unhide the rows and look at the formulas that I used. And there are other columns over here that are hidden that are used to get this adjusted cost basis summary. All right, we talked about the change log, and then I just updated the instructions based on what we just covered in this video. And then finally, the dashboard, it stays the same. The only thing that I've really added since I've last made a video was the Patreon link, and then of course the version 3.7, so you know exactly what version you're using. So as you know, this trade log is completely free, and then I update it on my free time when I can. I hope you find it useful. If you do, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. But I also want to mention, and this is the reason I put a link down here to the Patreon, and that's because even though the trade log is free, if you would like to support the channel and support the development of this free trade log, then you can become a patron. I just made a membership of just $1 a month, and That's just if you want to say thanks. You don't have to. I'm not going to be offended if you don't, but I did make that available for those that do want to show some support for this free trade log, just $1 a month. These other tiers I've talked about in my other videos regarding the Trade 5 app, and there's a link to that in the description as well. So that is an app for your phone that is very similar to this trade log. So Google Sheets doesn't play very well with iPads and iPhones. So if you want a mobile options tracking app, I did develop one, and it is either $5 a month or $7 a month, depending if you're getting the basic app or the premium app. But a lot of the updates that you're seeing in this trade log are also going to be put into the app very soon. So you'd want to stay tuned for that. All right, so if you have any questions about using the trade log or any other feature requests, then go ahead and leave a comment down below or catch me on Twitter at Trading5Talents. In the meantime, if you want to stay up to date with updates on the trade log, with the Trade 5 app, or with using the wheel strategy for lifestyle trading, then click on the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you can catch all the updates. Till next time, trade wisely and take care.